a minute. Okay.
Well, tonight we're going to read a section from I Am That by Nisargadatta, which we've done many times in the past. And as you know, these are recordings of dialogues from the talks that Nisargadatta would give in the evening hours in his little loft-like dwelling in the most poor section of Calcutta. And
No, Bombay.
Bombay? Okay. And people would just gather around and ask him questions, or sometimes, as in this case, he would ask a visitor a question. And so he asked the guy, where does he come from? The guy tells him he comes from the States and that he's been traveling around to different ashrams and he learned this and that ashram and that and the other thing. And then Maharaj says to him, what are you after now by being here? Well, what are we all after? Some truth, some inner certainty, some real happiness. In the various schools of self-realization, there's so much talk of awareness that one ends up with the impression that awareness itself is the supreme reality. Is it so? The body is looked after by the brain. The brain is illumined by consciousness. Awareness watches over consciousness. Is there anything beyond awareness? He asked Maharaj. How do you know that you are aware? Maharaj asks him. I feel that I am. I cannot express it otherwise. When you follow it up carefully from brain through consciousness to awareness, you find that the sense of duality persists. When you go beyond awareness, there is a state of non-duality in which there is no cognition, only pure being, which may be as well called non-being, if by being you mean being something in particular. What you call pure being, is it universal being? Being everything? Maharaj, everything implies a collection of particulars. In pure being, the very idea of the particular is absent. Question, is there any relationship between pure being and particular being? What relationship can there be between what is and what merely appears to be? The real enables the unreal to appear and causes it to disappear. The succession of transient moments creates the illusion of time, but the timeless reality of pure being is not in movement, for all movement requires a motionless background. It is itself the background. Once you have found it in yourself, you know that you never had lost that independent being, independent of all divisions and separations. But don't look for it in consciousness. You will not find it there. Don't look for it anywhere, for nothing contains it. On the contrary, it contains everything and manifests everything. It is like the daylight that makes everything visible while itself remaining invisible. Questioner, of what use is it to me? You're telling me that reality cannot be found in consciousness. Where am I to look for it? How do you apprehend it? Maharaj, it's quite simple. If I ask you what the taste of your mouth is, all you can say is that it's not sweet nor bitter, not sour or astringent. It is what remains when all these tastes are not. Similarly, when all distinctions and reactions are no more, what remains is reality, simple and solid. Questioner, all I understand is that I am in the grip of a beginningless illusion, and I don't see how it can come to an end. If it could, it would long ago. I must have had as many opportunities in the past as I shall have in the future. What could not happen cannot happen, or if it did, it could not last. Our very deplorable state after all these untold millions of years carries at best the promise of ultimate distinction, or which is worse, the threat of endless, meaningless repetition. Maharaj, what proof have you that your present state is beginningless and endless? How were you before you were born? How will you be after death? And of your present state, how much do you know? You do not know even what was your condition before you woke up this morning. You only know a little of your present state, and from it you draw conclusions for all times and all places. You may be just dreaming and imagining your dream to be eternal. Calling it a dream does not change the situation. I repeat my question. What hope is left which the eternity behind me could not fulfill? Why should my future be any different from my past? In your fevered state, you project a past and a future and take them to be real. In fact, you know only your present moment. Why not investigate what is now instead of questioning the imaginary past and future? Your present state is neither beginningless nor endless. It's over in a flash. Watch carefully from whence it comes and where it goes. You will soon discover the timeless reality behind it. Why have I not done it before? Just as every wave subsides into the ocean, so does every moment return to its source. Realization consists in discovering the source and abiding there. Who discovers? The questioner said. The mind discovers. Does it find the answers? Maharaj, it finds that it is left without answers, that no answers are needed. Questioner, being born is a fact, dying is another fact. How do they appear to the witness? Maharaj, a child was born and a man has died, just events in the course of time. Questioner, is there any progress in the witness? Does awareness evolve? What is seen may undergo many changes when the light of awareness is focused on it. But it is the object that changes, not the light. Plants grow in sunlight, but the sunlight does not grow. By themselves, both the body and the witness are motionless, but when brought together in the mind, both appear to move. Questioner, yes, I can see that what moves and changes is the I am, the ego only. Is the I am needed at all? Now, he's not referring to the I am of the absolute, but the I am this, I am that self-consciousness that we all operated from. Is it needed at all? Hold on, I lost my place. Maharaj, who needs it? It is there now. It had a beginning and it will have an end. What remains when the I am ego goes? What does not come and go remains. It is the ever greedy mind that creates ideas of progress and evolution towards perfection. It disturbs and talks of order, destroys and seeks security. Is there progress in destiny or in karma? Karma is only a source of unspent energies, of unfulfilled desires and fears not understood. The store is being constantly replenished by new desires and new fears. It need not be so forever. Understand the root cause of your fears, estrangement from yourself, and understand the root cause of desires, the longing for the self, and your karma will dissolve like a dream. Between earth and heaven, life goes on. Nothing is affected. Only bodies grow and decay. Questioner, I can see that the basic biological anxiety, the flight instinct, takes many shapes and distorts my thoughts and feelings. But how did this anxiety come into being? It is a mental state caused by the I am the body idea. It can be removed by the contrary idea. I am not the body. Both the ideas are false, but one removes the other. Realize that no ideas are your own. They all come to you from outside. You must think of it, you must think it out for yourself. Become yourself the object of your meditation. The effort to understand yourself is yoga. Be a yogi. Give your life to it. Brood, wonder, search till you come to the root of error and to the truth beyond the error. Questioner, in meditation, who meditates? The person or the witness? Meditation is a deliberate attempt to pierce into the higher states of consciousness and finally go beyond it. The art of meditation is the art of shifting the focus of attention to ever subtler levels without losing one's grip on the levels left behind. In a way, it is like having death under control. One begins with the lowest levels, social circumstances, customs and habits, physical surroundings, the posture and the breathing of the body, the senses, their sensations and perceptions, the mind, its thoughts and feelings, until the entire mechanism of personality is grasped and firmly held. The final stage of meditation is reached when the sense of identity goes beyond the I am so-and-so, beyond so am I, beyond I am the witness only, beyond there is, beyond all doubts into the impersonally personal pure being. But you must be energetic when you take to meditation. It is definitely not a part-time occupation. Limit your interest and activities to what is needed for you and your dependents' barest needs. Save all your energies and time for breaking the wall your mind had built up around you. Believe me, you will not regret. How do I come to know that my experience is universal? At the end of your meditation, All is known directly. No proofs whatsoever are required. Just as every drop of the ocean carries the taste of the ocean, so does every moment carry the taste of eternity. Definitions and descriptions have their place as useful incentives for further search, but you must go beyond them into what is undefinable and indescribable, except in negative terms. After all, even universality and eternity are mere concepts, the opposites of being place and time bound. Reality is not a concept, nor the manifestation of a concept. It has nothing to do with concepts. Concern yourself with your mind. Remove its distortions and impurities. Once you have the taste of your own self, you will find it everywhere and at all times. Therefore, it is so important that you should come to it. Once you know it, you will never lose it, but you must give yourself the opportunity through intensive and even arduous meditation. What exactly do you want me to do? Give your heart and mind to brooding over the I am. What it is, how it is, what's its source, its life, its meaning. It is very much like digging a well. You reject all that's not water till you reach the life-giving spring. How shall I know that I'm moving in the right direction? By your progress in intentness, in clarity, and devotion to the task. We Europeans find it difficult to keep quiet. The world is too much with us. Oh no, Maharaj says, you are dreamers too. We differ only in the contents of our dreams. You are after perfection in the future. We are intent on finding it in the now. The limited only is perfectible. The unlimited is already perfect. You are perfect, only you don't know it. Learn to know yourself and you will discover wonders. All you need is already within you. Only you must approach yourself with reverence and love. Self-condemnation and self-distrust are grievous errors. Your constant flight from pain and search for pleasure is a sign of love you bear for yourself. All I plead with you is this: make love of yourself perfect. Deny yourself nothing. Give yourself infinity and eternity, and discover that you do not need them. You are beyond. Mhm. Well, that was the fullest exhortation to meditation, and one of the clearest descriptions of it that I think he's made so far. I said, you begin with the lowest levels, social circumstances, customs and habits, physical surroundings. the posture and the breathing of the body, the senses, their sensations and perceptions, the mind, its thoughts and feelings, until the entire mechanism of personality is grasped and firmly held. The final stage of meditation is reached when the entire sense of identity goes beyond the I am so-and-so.
So he's saying in all these different facets of life,
Facets of being.
of
Yeah,
being, watch,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
watch how the personality reacts.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get to know this me, you get to know this personality. And once having gotten to see it in the moment, as it interacts, as it reacts, you then, I think this is what he's saying, begin to let it go. Because the seeing is the doing. Once you see it, there's nothing else you can, it just goes.
Mm-hmm.
But with an intensity, he said, with all your energy, it can't be a half a loaf. It's got to be fully.
Yeah, and it even says here, how you do that. Limit your interest and your activities to what is needed for you and your dependents' barest needs.
Well, yes.
Right? Your barest needs. Save all your energies and time for breaking the wall your mind has built around you.
Well, because it takes so much energy to be so choicelessly aware of this personality as it unfolds itself, and to be able to pull the plug out on it, because until that me goes.
Yeah, and it's also it's also a challenge to maintain the focus on the observation, because it operates so instinctively and quickly. Everything happens quickly. It's not like watching intently observing something outside yourself. Like he said, you've got to observe yourself.
Of course.
And that operates so automatically.
So, but what is it that's observing?
Well, when you are able to observe yourself in action and have a clarity and understanding about yourself in action, it makes it become more apparent that it's an object of your awareness.
That's the point.
Right.
That's the point.
And then to be able to let it go.
Right.
Or just have it not be such a source of fascination.
Right. Right. Well, yes, because the me can observe the me, but choiceless awareness is what's needed in observing the moment-to-moment unfolding of personality.
Right, absolutely.
And then because then there is no condemnation. There is no.
Right.
It's really in silence that all this is happening, or all this unfolding. And you need a lot of energy for that. And it is difficult because life itself throws so much at you. But I guess at the point that we're truly in the observing, there's no longer an observer and an observed. There's just seeing. There's not a me that sees. There's just seeing. And we've all experienced that. And in that moment, when there's no me that's seeing, where there's just seeing, something changes.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he was, I guess that's meditation. It's not just sitting, although that's meditation. You know, many people do that and that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's really moment to moment living meditation.
Yeah, well, meditation basically only exists when the I is not.
Right. Right.
So as long as you're seeing, or you're in the moment, not necessarily without the I. As long as you're in the moment with the I, you're not in the moment.
Right. Right.
And that's the tricky part, because I've tried, the meditation. You sit down and the pillow and the 20 minutes and the bong. You get this bong on the TV, on the internet, and it announces the 20 minutes or whatever it is. And I just, after a number of years of doing it, I could just not disassociate myself with me meditating. The me was present with me on that cushion. And I try to be quiet, and I try and I try and I try. And what I've come to the conclusion is that what I really have to do is try to understand the position that Krishnamurti takes about effort. And when effort comes in, it gets tricky, because most of the time the I is behind the effort.
Yeah.
And that effort is a result of the conditioning that has gone on in putting the illusion of Yugo power together.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm. So how do we live this in daily life? How is this to be lived?
I think trying to be aware when you're not in the moment. I mean, throughout the day, most of the day is spent either in the past or the future.
Right.
And rather than just staying there from the morning to night, increasingly now I become more and more aware of not being in the moment. Find myself worrying about, well, should I do this on the right hand or that? So, whoa, wait a minute. Right now, I'm sitting here, I'm looking out the window, beautiful scene out there, the sun is shining, this, that, and the other thing. That's what's now. And if you can stay with what's now, then things happen. Somebody stops by to visit, I get a telephone call, the day evolves, but I don't assume control of it. That's my problem. I try to steer the goddamn thing, and it doesn't work so well. It's a sticky rudder.
Right. What did he say about fear? He said, what did he say?
Well, he talked about fears, and this section is root cause of fear, the title. He talked about fear when this gentleman asked him suddenly about karma. Is there progress in destiny in karma? And he says, karma is only a store of upset energies, unspent energies, unfulfilled desires, and fears not understood. that store is being constantly replenished by new desires and fears. It not be so. It doesn't have to always be that way, he says. Understand the root cause of your fears, dash, which he says is estrangement from yourself is a root cause of fear, and of your desires, the longing for the self. And your karma will dissolve like a dream. If you understood those two things well, all the rest, this whole idea of karma and carrying a past dissolves, he says. Between earth and heaven, life goes on. Nothing is affected. Only bodies grow and die and decay. So that's where he was talking about fears.
The root cause of the
Yeah.
fear, he says, is the separation from the
Estrangement
the
from your.
estrangement from
Right.
the self, not
Right.
the me,
Exactly,
from the self.
exactly.
The present awareness.
Right.
Yeah, because once that separation is established, then the imaginary self is limited. And it's going to be insecure. It's constantly trying to be adequate, to fulfill, to become. It's not satisfied with what it is, because what it is illusionary.
Well, yeah.
And it lost the relationship that, I mean, when we're very small, we don't have a separate self. So we're all very happy or very sad. We're in the moment all the time. But then we learn how to separate, and that's the environment, and that's when it starts. Right about then, one or two, whatever the heck the individual is. But and I can really see that. If my mind is quiet, if I can still, if I pause my thoughts, I have no problems.
Of course.
None. Even if I'm dying of cancer, which I'm not, but I'm just saying, no matter what the problem is, it only exists when I think about it.
Yes.
I mean, you could say, well, you're a fool because there is something going on, so on and so forth. Yeah, but being obsessed by it, and what does the obsession do? So I'm really beginning to understand that, the importance of that.
Well, that's like Sailor Bob said something like, there's nothing wrong with right now until you start thinking about it.
That's it. That's it. And it's highly simplistic, but it seems like it can open a door to really some profound understanding, at least for me.
I love that he's talking about meditation in this, and sort of a real, for me, it's exactly the kind of meditation thing that I'm into now. And he's talking about that thing about the effort to understand yourself is yoga.
Yeah.
Be a yogi.
Hold on. Yeah.
Be a yogi.
Yeah.
Which is that linking of yourself, the yoke, the linking of yourself with that,
to the absolute,
right, with the self, right? And then this meditation is like this, it's a deliberate effort or whatever to go into these higher states of consciousness, and then finally go beyond them. And it's that idea of shifting the focus to ever subtler levels. So for me, that's exactly what it's about for me, So you're making this effort to sort of pierce into subtler levels to the basically the subtlest level, which is the no thing level, whereas there's just the self. So that's I love that. I think that's exactly my approach to all of this.
Yeah.
And he said something about the personal, trying to think what the impersonally personal
Yes.
or something like that, right?
Yeah. I'll go back a sentence or two before that. So this is the paragraph where he described what you were just talking about,
Right.
going through the different levels. The final stage of meditation is reached when the sense of identity goes beyond the I am so-and-so, comma, beyond so am I, comma, beyond I am the witness only, comma, beyond there is, comma, beyond all ideas into the impersonally personal pure being. But you must be energetic when you take to medication. It's definitely not a part-time occupation.
Could you read that sentence again? Impersonal
Yeah.
what? It's good you caught that, Jim.
You go beyond all
Yeah.
ideas, into the impersonally personal pure being.
What? Impersonal, personal?
Yeah, I've always kind of, when you've said that many times, Evelyn, about it's not personal,
That's right.
Well,
but I've always kind of rejected that in a way, because I would always say it's very personal. but I understood what you were saying, but
Well,
I like what he's saying. It's this impersonally personal, because
Yeah.
that's
Well,
exactly it. Because it's not the personal as
As
in
a me,
as a me or the egoic self. And I love the way he's talking about this, because he's talking about how you're going, he's talking about that going from the grosser to the subtler
right?
levels. So
Yes.
your I am so-and-so,
yeah.
beyond beyond the so I am, beyond the witness,
Right.
beyond
Yes.
what
Yes.
is, beyond all ideas,
Beyond all concepts.
beyond
of
all
any
concepts. Yeah, so he's actually talking about that meditative process of
Yes.
the word of delving into the subtler and subtler realms till you get to the no realm, basically.
Right. It's what was curious here and catches your ear is the uncommon juxtaposition of impersonally personal.
Yeah, I love that. It's beautiful.
Personally.
But
he could have written
And what?
beyond all ideas into the impersonal pure being.
Yes.
Yes, but he's saying it's impersonal, personal pure being.
Yeah, well, impersonal implies the mind is still and silent.
Yeah. Well, the
And
personal.
that's the only time that meditation occurs. You're not meditating if the mind isn't still and quiet, which I have a problem with, getting it still and quiet. And the other thing is that this thing about the beyond is to me almost as mystical as, present awareness. I don't think you can talk about the beyond because
Well, in a way, you're right. That's right.
I mean, it's something that if you can present yourself, or if you can get yourself into a state where the mind is quiet and still, then maybe something happens. Or I accept that that's the only way to get to the beyond.
Hmm.
In other words, pardon?
No, go ahead. Sorry, Ugo. I didn't mean to.
I was just saying that as long as there is a trace of the me, of the self, what I call the me or the I,
Right.
you can't go beyond.
Well,
Yes. Go ahead, Evelyn. I'm sorry.
Well, there is no going to the beyond. You can only be it. There's no going to it. You can only remove what is not it, or let go. Or I don't know the word I'm trying to find, but it's here. What is it that prevents us,
Obscure.
obscures it. What is that? That's everything that it is not.
A sense of self, sense of me,
The sense of
the
the me.
imaginary me.
That's
Right,
with
but-
all
Right, but what he's doing here is he's laying out a roadmap for this process of meditation. And he's laying out this roadmap of going in into subtler and subtler realms
right.
of our experience.
Right.
So we're experiencing, many of us are experiencing the world in a physical realm, and he's talking about using that. Okay. And then we experience the realm of the me.
But the
And then
men,
right, the mental. And so what he's talking about is he's laying out a roadmap of meditation, which is leading from the gross to the subtler, to the no thing,
right,
to basically the self, where there is no thing.
right.
So that's why he's talking about that in terms of when he's saying beyond, Ugo, the final stage, when you're going beyond, he's saying you're going beyond the egoic self, the I am so and so, beyond the so I am, beyond the I am the witness, beyond something
Beyond
else.
I am.
Yeah,
Can't be
beyond all
experienced.
ideas.
The beyond cannot be experienced.
No, but you are experiencing it. He's laying out the roadmap for this meditation process that's going from the gross. So right now, you probably have the experience. You're able to, touch your face. We're talking, we're listening, we're living in a physical realm, right? He's talking about exploring reality. So you're going to start with this outermost layer of this physical realm, and you're going to go within. The kingdom of heaven is within, right? That's in Christianity, right?
Right.
So it was this direction of going from the more dense to the subtler realms. And so that's when he's talking about beyond this, what he's talking about is relinquish that identification with the
Right.
body, relinquish that identification with the me,
Right.
relinquish that identification with the witness,
Yes.
relinquish that identification with all ideas, all conceptual ideas.
That's right.
And so that's when he's talking about those beyonds, it's a roadmap for how to get there. The same way as, you're saying, where is Apaquag? You have a map and it lays it
Right.
out, and you follow these directions to get there. He's passing along this information as a directional pointer to a
Yeah.
process that takes
Yeah.
you from the apparent self, the apparent me,
Right. Right.
into the subtler realms, into the no thing, or
That's right.
basically.
That's right. That's right.
Well said, Chip.
Right. That's right. Right. And it's done as a living meditation. So that's literally moment by moment, a watching or an awareness of what's going on in the body, the feelings, the sensations, the aches, the pains, to what's going on inwardly, what is going on inward. And just watching the awareness, the watching with awareness, the reactions, the conditioning that we've all been subjected to, watching or noticing the past appearing in the present, noticing where we live, that we either live in the past or we live in the future. Just going in, and being able in that seeing, the letting go. it's interesting. Jean Klein would say, like about perceiving, that it's almost like bringing the seen back to the seeing, bringing what's heard back to the hearing, so that instead of looking out, your things are coming in. The outside is coming in. And that, he's saying, is a way of bringing you to the background, bringing you to the non-me. So it's interesting. Somehow I see a similarity here to what he's saying in terms of his meditation.
In other words, in a sense, eliminating the observer.
Oh, yes, of
Oh,
course.
there is no observer in seeing.
Right.
There's just the seeing.
Just the seeing.
It's just the object.
Right.
With
Just
the
this,
hearing and so on and so forth.
the
And
functioning.
When you do that, you take the me, the I, out of the picture.
That's the
Because-
point.
Yeah, because mostly during the day, events are processed by the me.
Absolutely.
And that's the problem, because the me is conditioned and so on and so forth. And it's really difficult to see reality because the conditioning, the hearing, all of the senses have been conditioned over time.
Yes.
Yeah, I see that. I see that perfectly. And for me, the big thing I know when I can really get a picture of it when I'm messing up with it, with my ego, with the me, is by judging.
Right.
You know, I mean, that goes on all day long. God, I judge everything: the color of the house, the fork is not right, the neighbor is walking too fast, you know, the birds flying too slow. Whenever I get into that mode, you know, I know that it's this me that's doing it.
Right.
Yes.
Well, so he would say, just bring as much attention
Yep.
to those moments as you can.
Yep.
And maybe next time, Evelyn, you'll show us what you were talking about,
About
the
what Jean
listening in
said
Jean Klein.
about the perceiving.
Right.
Hmm.
Well, thank you all for a lovely conversation tonight.
Yes,
Thank you.
It was a
Thank you.
nice
Thank
little
you.
section, I think.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Okay. Next
Thank you
time,
all.
guys, all be well.
Next time, stay well.
Buonasera.
You too. Good
Buonasera
night.
a tutti.
Buonasera.